Hello everybody. This is Crazy Man. And I've tried to record things a couple of times. One time I had lag and lost health. Another time I'm just making a mess of this place. Yay. No, let's keep on me for a moment. Another time badness happened. I got very distracted. Started not doing too good. And yeah. I was looking over the footage just now and I decided I'm not going to keep it. However, I have just been caving, and as you may notice, I have 30 levels on me. No, we want to do this on sticks. And I haven't had a good sword yet. In fact, I haven't enchanted any swords on this server, and I've decided my first level 30 enchantment, this stuff has been less than 30. It's going to be on a sword. Nice, good sword. I've got quite a few good things. And I'm hoping... not bad. Unbreaking. Nice. Sharpness 4. Very nice. Fire aspect. We'll see. So, yeah. That's good. Good sword. Yes. It could be a pain when fighting zombies. Zombots. I would have quite liked a knockback with fire aspect. I don't mind fire aspect, but I prefer it if it's also got knockback with it. Also, I traded that with Sparks for an efficiency for Unbreaking 3 pick. I think that's pretty good, which is why I have all nice diamondy things. This guy's also mine. I could probably fix his arm, but don't want to be. Don't want to. I think this is my third pick. Had one other break. I'm going to start smelting up this iron of mine. And then we're going to head on out and try and find a place to live. Okay, that was very stupid. I just lost a heart. Full damage because I was not being careful. I was being silly. Very silly indeed. There we go. Let's take that. We'll have one now. We'll have the rest later. If we find more gold. And only if, we need them. I've had a lot of these things. Grr, I wish I hadn't needed them, but I have. I was down to half a heart at one point, a witch got me. Then I recovered and got some leftover gold, and that is my leftover gold. Okay. So... we're back. We're back. I'm back. Which way is this? North. North, south, east, west. Which way shall we go? I really just do not know. Do not know at all. Well, considering this boat seems to be heading in a northwardly way, let's go north. We're going to head north and hopefully find... squeaky chair. We're hopefully going to find a place to be. I'm looking for somewhere that's nice and green and colourful. I'm thinking maybe a roofed forest. Maybe a jungle if we find one. Maybe a something else. And I'm going to try and limit myself to 3,000-ish blocks. So everybody, what has been happening in lives of you? What do you think of new people on the server? What do the servers think of you? The serverites, the people, the things. Let me start this again. Hello everybody, I'm Crazy Man. I'm not talking utter rubbish that I don't understand myself. No, I know exactly what I'm saying. All the time, always, and forever. Snow. Is this just an altitude thing? I think this is just an altitude thing. I don't think I am now heading into a snowy biome. But let's just have a look-see. That's a cave. That's not a cave. Good. That's lava. It's water. That's a suicidal pig. Or at least a daredevil pig. Ho ho ho! Cows and piggies and ice. Huh. And world's not loading. Well, some of the world got the hint. I don't want to go into that little... Well... Fine, let us go down. Didn't want to have to go down that low, but you know, whatever. So, why don't I tell us a story? A story of awkwardness and embarrassingnesses. It's going to be a good story, I promise. It is going to be probably one of the most awkward situations that I have... No, not one of the... It is the most awkward situation I have ever been in. And I'm going to challenge you. If you have been in a more awkward or more embarrassing situation, I challenge you to be brave enough to leave it in the comments. Because this one is a big one. And when I say it was awkward and embarrassing, I don't mean sort of like high school. Oh my god, it was like so awkward. Nobody said anything. No, I mean truly, truly awkward. From the point where most people would just take the opportunity to give up on living. Because it was that awkward. This may be somewhere that I decide to build. A swamp I might also build in. I have a couple of ideas of things I want to do. And this is going to be determined by the land whether I'm going to be able to do them or not. Anywho, moving on. This story. First of all, you need a little bit of background. Just a little bit. It's going to be a little bit boring, this background, but then bear with it, because then there's really funny, hilarious story that some of you may even cringe at. There we go. Nice safe way down. When people are growing up There's usually a point in time when they'll spend a weekend or maybe even longer with their grandparents, or they'll often see their grandparents. And planes. I'm not a fan of planes. I'd rather stay in the forest. Yeah, so most of you will have at some point spent time with your grandparents when you were growing up. I didn't. My family's a bit complicated, but in essence I had 3 lots of grandparents. 1 on my dad's side and 2 on my mum's side, because they split up and remarried and blah 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 blah. Boring. Now, for various reasons, for different reasons, I didn't stay with any of them, but the ones that were probably the most likely to ever look after me, I need to keep an eye on where I'm going. Okay, I need to be heading this way. Was the ones on my mum's side, which was her biological father and his wife. So, grandparents I'm on about, they're well-meaning, but they go about things in potentially the least helpful way possible. I think that's the best way of describing it. What am I on? Only about 1,000, that's fine. Anyway, as a child, I never stayed with them at all. Not alone. I did with parents. Never alone. Just sort of tried it once and it didn't work out. It's the long and the short of it. So, skip forward a few years, which is a couple of years past for me now. I had been slowly bombarded with email after email, sort of, if you ever have any free time, it'd be lovely if you could come and see us. I understand you're quite busy and all, but do feel free to come anytime you want. Basically, heavily hinting that they wanted me to come and see them. And foolish little naive me said, fuck it. What's the worst that could happen? So I sort of said, yeah, okay, that's fine. We arranged on a date, and I said, I'll come for, I think, 3 nights. So I'd get there late one evening, spend 1 night, have a day there, spend another night, have a day there, spend the night, and then I think it was about midday, my train to get home. Oh, itchy nose. So that was mistake number 1. I thought that's a shortish time, but long enough for them to not complain. I then found out that none of my aunts or uncles had ever dared go for that long at one go since they had been adults. They'd always gone for the standard 2 nights. And then sort of left afternoon-ish time, early afternoon. I should sleep, actually, on the 3rd day. So I had basically agreed to stay an additional 24 hours. I thought, fuck it, what's the worst that can happen? So, I'm kind of not looking forward to this meeting with people. But on the other hand, I also had coursework due, I think the day before I left. And I was trying to finish that. That was my main priority. I thought, worry about that, and then later you have an entire train journey to worry about, the mess you've got yourself into. Anyway, I got, I think the day before, an email from my granddad saying something along the lines of, I saw there's this film, it's based on a book, it's supposed to be a bit of a classic, recently made into a film, and it's showing the Saturday you're here or something like that, which I think was like the first night, or the night of the first day that I was there, if that makes sense. So I'd been in their company for about 24 hours by that point. And I thought it was probably a stupid idea to just say yes without even vaguely looking at it. So I quickly searched it on IMDb, and I sort of had a quick glance over it. It said, I think I had like a 12 rating, and it was about some people travelling across America, a writer travelling across America, and I thought, okay, well that sounds a bit dull and boring. It's 12, probably some swearing in it, maybe a little bit of violence. They've suggested it, that's fine. It wasn't a 12 rating. At least if it was, the rating system criteria seems to have drastically changed for that one film. And that was strange. So yeah, I get there. Lava pool. I still haven't really found anything I'm liking the look of. I might just go in a forest. Build in a forest. Forests are quite pretty. Far. We'll keep going. Another couple of thousand blocks maybe. Just to see what there is. So yeah, I thought, where was I? Oh yes, I just arrived on the first day, and yeah, there was a few problems because it was in Octoberish time, and I can't remember, but there were trains delayed or cancelled, so I got picked up. I got home, everything was fine. Slightly awkward a conversation considering we have no common interests. Ooh, a swamp next to a forest. Ooh, this could actually be very nice and almost ideal. But that swamp looks a little dead. Let's have a look at this swamp a bit more. Yeah. Yes. So it was kind of just awkward being with them, knowing that we had a lot more time together to do things. Ooh, the orchids. Nice patch here. Not too fond of this grass, but I am quite fond of this grass. Grass is going to be a big contributing factor as to where I decide I put my base, my main base. Where are we roughly here? Let's just take a screenshot of that. About 3,000 blocks out. This is quite nice. Ooh, nice little cave. do. Lovely. Oh, and that goes down as well. Oh, that goes down quite deep quite fast. I like that. This may be where we have our base, guys. This is quite possibly going to be this season's base. In the north. Anyway, just back to my story. Whilst there's still a bit of story to go back to. I'm going to keep travelling some more in case we come across anywhere better, but I think we're probably going to come back here. Yeah, the first day, I cannot remember what I did on the first day. I cannot remember it at all. It's a complete blur in my memory. I do not remember what I did. I can't remember if we went anywhere even, or if we just stayed around. I know at one point I think I helped my granddad with his allotment, which he's since given up. Maybe that was that day. I'm not sure. I have a feeling it was the following day though. So that evening though, we went to see this film. Just destroying all the lily pads. We went to see this film. We had a meal first, and then went to see the film. We sat down. Somehow, I ended up between them. One on one side, one on the other. Now, my boat's finally broke. Now, these people who I am partially related to, they are in their 80s. It's kind of, ooh, pretty blue. It's kind of expected that people of that age are kind of a little bit racist / homophobic / a couple of other things. Just a bit, I guess, a bit conservative in many ways. For his time, my granddad was actually pretty liberal, but he does still have a couple of things that... Ooh, actually, maybe we'll build our base more over this way. This is even nicer. We've got the new roof forest and the swamp nearby. We will have to see. My worry about building a swamp actually is slimes. That is my one concern about building in a swamp, but that could be fixable. And I do like these big mushrooms. Anyway, this film started, it was set in 1940 something, maybe 30 something. Based in America, about this... I think I just heard a skeleton, I could be wrong. About this writer, as I've said before. I'm kind of just trying to avoid saying the inevitable. The film started. We're sat there. They're saying stuff. I was meeting with some friends, they're drinking in a pub. All well and good. Then another friend comes along. They start talking about weed. Now, in terms of levels of inappropriateness, this isn't great to be viewing with grandparents. It gets a little bit worse, because this is still within the first 5 minutes of the film, might I add. He goes, "Oh, I know where we can score some weed. I have a good friend who has some," or something. They didn't use those exact words. Surprisingly, I can't remember the exact words that they used. They then go to this bloke's apartment, and some chappie answers the door, butt naked. They then sort of get talking, and he had just been having sex with his lady friend, who is also naked. And so, within 5 minutes, and then they all start smoking weed. So within 5 minutes, we've had a conversation about weed. We've seen at least one tit and an arse and heavy implications of sex, and seen 4 or 5 people smoke weed. And it just gets worse from there. By the end of the film, we have witnessed a lot of tits. I think a couple of vaginas. I think a couple of cocks. Definitely a lot of sex. Quite a few arses. A lot of implied sex. A lot of gay sex, lesbian sex, sex in a car when it's in motion, drugs mixed with sex, you name it. As a variety of sex which doesn't fall under S&M, which is probably the only thing that was missing. And in fact, I think there was even a bit of implied S&M, or BDSM, whichever you prefer. That film had everything. And the entire time, I was sat between 2 people in their mid to late 80s, one of which is a Daily Mail reader, which, for you Americans, the Daily Mail is basically a newspaper form of Fox News, though every time I've heard an American talk about it in England, they've always said it's one of the things that seems to get greatly exaggerated. They always thought that it was never as bad as Fox, until they came to England and started to read the paper out of curiosity, and then they realised that it was more racist and conservative and up its own arse than Fox News, more so than Fox News, more right-wing than Fox News. And this lady who reads it is sat next to me watching gay sex. And I've still got a day and a half to spend in the company of these people. And it's not as if they live in the middle of nowhere. So it's not as if I can sort of go off on my own. I don't drive, so I can't just drive and escape away. I am literally stuck with these 2 people for another day and a half at the very, very least. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Did I? Right. What am I doing? Wrong buttons. we're not going to go much further. Yeah. That was an awkward situation. And if you do not understand oh, sparks of this sense of humour. If only you realised what we were talking about right now, maybe you wouldn't have made that joke. I feel like that should lead on to a podzol forest. I really want to find podzol more than anything. I'm just going to go a little bit further to see if I find any podzol from this forest. But if this forest turns into anything else, I'm leaving. Can I? Yeah. So yes, most awkward situation I've ever been in. And if you do not understand why that is an awkward situation, it's probably because you are too young to understand some of the things that I've just said. And one day you will suddenly realise, oh dear Lord, that has just become 1,000 times worse than I ever realised. Yeah. That was the only bit I can remember from that trip as well. I don't remember anything else really. It was an interesting trip. I've seen them once since then, relatively recently. That happened just over a year ago, by the way. And I will tell you what happened to me the next time I saw them. Next time I saw them, I was with my mum and stepdad. I think that's the right wording. My mother and her lover, who is not my father. I think that's what a stepdad is classed as. But anyway, I will tell you that story another time because I've been going for a while now and I'm not really getting anywhere. And I think I'm going to head back. We're probably going to use that place that I said we'll probably use. Sheep, you scared the living shit out of me. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you think you have a more awkward situation that you have been in, more embarrassing, etc., I would love to hear it. Although, even if you have been in a more awkward / embarrassing situation, I can understand if you don't want to leave it in the comments for the entire world to see. But I would like to know. I'd like to know that I'm not the only one who's been in an awkward situation that's that horrible. I may just scour this ice plains a little bit in case I come across some ice shards, because that would be amazing. Coolio and great and stuff. But I don't think I will come across anything. And then I'm going to head home. Thanks for watching. Bye.